How's the swing looking?
Birdie bogey. Story of my life. No, I'm just kidding. Par.
That's only
Par.
4 holes.
Birdie bogey, par. Pretty good.
72.
Not bad.
Yep, but I quit. Well, I know how I've been in that round many times. It doesn't end up at 72. Anyway, what's happening?
You guys haven't had the chance to do as many of these sort of things
Yeah.
as probably you anticipated when you launched the foundation
Yep.
because of the pandemic. How much are you looking forward to being able to do this today?
Yeah, I just was talking to a bunch of people about it that they're surprised it was our first one, and I kind of give them the story that we started. The Rudy Gobert tested positive, and we were literally on stage at the evening of music night that night. So it's been the first like kind of live event. We've been able to get out, most recently and at least deliver on some of the things, the Thanksgiving and Christmas giveaways and things like that. I mean, back in not that long ago, we couldn't deliver even the musical instruments we were giving out. We were dropping them in driveways and leaving them on doorsteps and all that kind of stuff because of the protocols that were in place. So all that being said, it's awesome to be here, man. It's awesome to be here, and we got our next event already in the pipeline for a few months away, and we're excited. We think we got getting some really nice things going.
How quickly after you said the words golf tournament was Kyle in?
He was pretty quickly, man, and I give him a lot of credit, right? Like I said, hey, we're having a tournament. I didn't even have to. He said, I'm coming. Like I'm in, and he has not wavered. And for him to travel in and spend the time, and on top of that, he's helped us with even sponsorships and connections, and he's just been a huge help with it all, and means a lot. Means a lot for me, and it's going to mean a lot for some kids down the road that are going to see the benefits of some of the stuff.
Coming through a summer of basketball, you guys did what everybody kind of expected you to do, bring back 2 guys.
Yep.
Tinker, how do you feel about what went on early July for your practice?
I feel pretty good, Doug. I think that I see, well, I don't want to go too far here, but I see a little specialness with this group. I mean, there's not one of them here today, right? Golfing, and the reason for that is they're all in the gym together, right, and working out. I mean, literally the entire team bar, I think, one guy who's doing a basketball event in another country. But so I'm seeing some really good signs for some cohesion and some belief and building. And I think, we started last year, we didn't know who we were at all, right? We were picked 11th, 12th in the league. We had no idea. We came out playing like we didn't know who we were or what we were, and then all of a sudden we ended up being pretty good. I really think that a couple things. I think the health of a couple guys, if it gets a little better, we could see market improvement in our team, right? I think Thad Young now is actually acclimated and will be more of a factor. I think the Otto Porter signing is excellent. And then I think that there's some guys that are really coming, and Kush Boucher is one of them. He continues to come on. Precious is a guy who's, you guys have heard me say already this summer, he's been incredibly driven, intense, and focused this summer, so I'm expecting some big leap forward from him. And then there's a group of guys that we're going to have to get to there's a group of guys that we know all can hit the floor and play for us, and then they've got to level up. They've got to carve out a role. They've got to do it more consistently each night, or whoever wins those battles will be the guy that probably does it most consistently. So I think I see some depth there, Doug, much more than a year ago, which I think we desperately needed. That should help us.
Do you need to see some separation from those guys like Penny Banton?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like two of them.
It's a great question because I sit there and watch them. In fact, I was just in LA Monday, and I'm watching them, and they're all doing some good things.
Right.
And all of them. And you can make a case for saying, well, we're certainly going to be able to use that from him and that from him and even a little bit of that from. And then you say, well, wait a minute, we can't play all 7 of them, right? So there is going to be some competition. I think there will be some finessing of that. I can envision sitting in front of you guys a lot here coming up in these press conferences pre and post game asking me about why he played, why he didn't, why he did, why he didn't. And I think there'll be some serious finessing about it, but it's turning in my head a little bit, and I could see us using a lot of them different ways. Like last year we played Delano in the first half and Malachi in the second or something like that, and it seemed to be, I don't know why we were doing it, to be honest, but it seemed to be the feel and the right move, and they both played good, and you go to the next game, you say, well, let's do that again, and then do it again or whatever. So I think there'll be some of that kind of jockeying around, and the thing is though, like you just mentioned, Justin, you guys know I like Justin, right? Delano, we got Delano playing multiple positions, and I'm feeling really good about some of the stuff he's doing, and that's where we'll use him in those areas. We'll define the role a little bit. Malachi looked great the other day in LA. I think this is a big year for him to step up, and I really believe there was a window there last year where he was starting to before an injury sidetracked him. So, and I think that a lot of the stuff does get determined by injury.
Do you need
right?
a couple of those guys though to emerge for their games to grow so they become? You have to play them.
Listen, I think this. Doug, I think that what are we going to need at the offensive end from those guys? Well, they're going to have to knock down an open shot, right? It's not like they're going to have to be doing every skill set move in the world and creating, and they're going to have to, when it comes around, kick to them in rhythm, they're going to have to make some, and whoever does that stands the best chance of solidifying one of those spots. And then the rest of it is, the rest of the deal. Who's going to guard? Who's going to play hard? Who's going to offensive rebound? Who's going to keep the ball alive? And who's going to do that at the highest level? Well, again, it's kind of like the determining factor. If nobody's making shots, then whoever does that stuff the best, wins out, right?
Well, Siakam has been notorious for using the summer to
Yep.
take those huge jumps.
Yep.
What have you seen from him, and does he feel like he's back to where he
Yep.
was in those other summers?
Looks absolutely spectacular. He really does. Just sit there and you watch him work out. His athleticism is electric. His focus his shot is smooth and soft. He looks great.
What value, I guess, with everyone down there in LA working with Rico Hines,
Mhm.
are you guys implementing any stuff with the Raptors down there, or is it
Yeah,
just...
yeah. So we get a chance. We get a chance. Our guys. It's kind of part of the reason we do it. We get a chance to get them out there in some group work. So the runs go on in the afternoon, and that's kind of like it's kind of an organized, noon ball YMCA run, but very organized. 3 courts running at once, and Rico's kind of running the show, and there's a kind of a winner's court, and how it kind of formulates. But the rest of the time, we're totally doing tons of Raptor stuff.
Nick, how was your
Always.
How was your trip overseas, and what did you pick up from the clinics you were teaching at?
Yeah, the trip. First of all, the trip was fabulous. About 10 times better than I thought it was going to be. It was really enjoyable, and it was from a basketball standpoint. I really had an amazing time. I went to Hungary to do this symposium. It was a two-day symposium. Name of the town is called Pesci, P-E-C-S, and they built a basketball school there at the unbelievable facility, dormitories for the young player. It blow you away. 5th or 6th largest city in Hungary, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and they've fallen in love with basketball, and they're really trying to grow it. So I was there as one of a number of speakers, but I was also there with Bob McKillop, who recently retired from Davidson University, Steph Curry's college coach, and we were kind of 1-2 it. I think I spoke 4 times on the Saturday. It was classroom sessions, there was on-court sessions, and twice on the Sunday, or 3 times on the Sunday, I can't remember, but lots of people there, lots of tremendous focus and energy about the game of basketball, and lots of sharing about the global game and all kinds of stuff. I learned a lot from a lot of people there. I learned a lot from Bob McKillop. I learned a lot. There was a lot of European great speakers.
What kind of stuff would you learn? X's and O's or player management, like European style, FIBA style? What would you learn?
Yeah, more probably. I think that probably more in the player management, motivation, psychology, leadership, tips that kind of always kind of directly correlates to the X's and O's a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just interesting ways of seeing. And you know what it usually does is, well, for me is what I love is like what I found when I was listening to like Bob is how similar we thought on a lot of things. Like he's laying down his like 4 things, and I'm like, he's just, you know, we never talked to each other before, and but there's a little tweak here and a little, you know, a little bit of polish that I can put on mine, or flat out steal from him, right? So that stuff's always, it was, I just can't, it's hard to explain to me, like how great the environment was, explain to you how great the environment was. They were locked in and focused. They were incredibly kind and appreciative that Coach McKillop and I were there in their little town in Hungary. And how I got there was I was an assistant coach for a Hungarian guy back in 1994, 95, 96 for the English national team, and he was part of the group running the clinic. Anyway.
Was it all Hungarian coaches and players?
It was no, they were Europeans, mostly Hungarian, but Europeans. Yeah.
Nick, speaking of trips, your team will get to tour Canada once again now that the
Yeah,
pandemic.
I just saw that.
How excited are you about this opportunity? And over the couple of times that you got to do it, how impactful has it been on your group to get it to gel together?
Well, first of all, I like the preseason tour of Canada. I mean, it does start the season out with a lot of travel if you want to get to the nitty-gritty of it, but it is really special to go to all these places. They're obviously very welcoming and excited that we're in town, and I find that, you know, like we're going to Montreal again. Who can't forget when Chris Boucher, you know, walked on the floor there and then, like, you know, standing over, and they were going crazy, you know. So those kind of things I think are really special, and it kind of seems to, you know, we went to Vancouver. Felt like a playoff game, you know, like the crowd was going crazy. So those are, I think, neat. And for us, it's obviously, it probably takes the same rhythm as normal, right? No matter where the games are, we got our guys. We're trying to get them in shape, and we're trying to make sure we're looking at every other guys. And then you get down to the last couple games, and you're, you know, seeing who the final cut guys are and giving them their chance and all that stuff. But I'm excited. I think we got a great group coming to camp, and we'll iron that out. Good way to iron it out in preseason.
You would have grown up watching Bill Russell pretty closely, I would presume, or?
Yeah, not a ton, not a ton.
But you got,
But certainly know him.
got to know him
Yeah,
from the NBA and stuff?
yeah, and you know, like you guys ever have these regrets in life where you had a chance to like talk to like one of the greatest in your field and you didn't take it, and then it never came by again. My first D-League All-Star game, I think it was in L.A. It's the first time I coached in the D-League All-Star game. So you get to be a part of the whole All-Star weekend, and I come out of my hotel room, and the guy across from me's coming out of his hotel room, and it's Bill Russell. We're staying across the hall from each other, and I was like, I didn't say anything. I said, well, we're staying right next to each other. I'm going to get a chance to see him all weekend. So I never met him and never talked to him or anything. And I do have, my high school coach had this iconic picture of him blocking going over the back of one of his own teammates to block a shot, and it was a black and white thing that was in our locker room, and he gave me that photo, and like, so we had a lot of discussions about Bill Russell, me and my high school coach, but that's as far as it goes. But what can you say? And his legacy speaks for itself.